This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, so in the Parshas Metzora, we have the mitzvah of bris milah. It says, "V'yayim hashmini yimal b'sar alasai." So there's a well-known pshat that the Gemara Nida brings down why milah is b'shmini, so that the father and mother will not be sad while everyone else is rejoicing, because the woman is asura labala for 7 days. But the Alter of Slabotka says a wondrous pshat in why milah has to be dafka b'yom hashmini. There's the Yalkut Shmoini. Yalkut Shmoini says that we know when it comes to chos karbanos, one cannot bring a carbon until the 8th day of Yom Hashmini Vahala Yeratzeh. That in order to bring a carbon, the behemoth has to be at least 8 days old. What's the reason for that? So the Yalkut Shmoini says, "Kamishbad Adam Mishbad HaBehema." The laws of animals and humans have the same halachic status, and that is they both have to be on the 8th day. Carbon has to be the 8th day of the animal, and milah has to be on the 8th day of the child. And the reason is, says the Yalkut Shmoini, is loy takrivu lefanai ad sheyaver olav haShabbos. You cannot offer something before me unless Shabbos passes over it. In other words, the power of Shabbos, the sanctity of Shabbos is so great that Hashem says, I don't want a sacrifice of an animal, and I don't want you to offer your son b'milah until he's influenced and he's under the effects of the power of the sanctity of Shabbos. And the Alter of Slabotka brings an amazing machzor vitri, which illustrates this point. We know in Hilchos Brachos, the halach is if you have two items, one that's a whole, one that's a shlema, and one that is a prusa, one that is, let's say, a half a roll, you make a bracha on the shlema. It's a halach in Hilchos Brachos that we make a bracha on the complete item. We don't make a bracha on the incomplete item. So you have a complete roll and a half a roll, you say that moitzi on the complete roll. We're talking about during the week, when you don't need lechem mishnah, you don't say it on a half a roll. However, the machzor vitri says a very interesting halacha. If the whole roll was baked after Shabbos, and the half roll was baked before Shabbos, the prusa actually has kadima over the shlema. They actually make the bracha on the prusa, and you forego making the bracha on the shlema. What's the reason for that? It's the same reason that the sanctity of Shabbos is such that even if a roll is a prusa is not complete, nevertheless it's elevated above the status of a shlema. As such as the kedusha of Shabbos, and that's why the milah has to be on the 8th day to ensure that before the child, so to speak, is sacrificed, he encounters and experiences the kedusha of Shabbos. So we should taka bizoicha, as we experience the kedusha of Shabbos, realize the great opportunity and for our own elevation, and we should be zoicha always to be elevated by the kedusha of Shabbos.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.